Well, it's the end of Easter Monday. Uh, I was away for a walk today. I walked down to Carrickfergus and back again. Well, didn't walk all the way. Went to Rogers or Troopers Lane to wave to my friend Trevor Gribben. But as I was walking along, I was thinking about different meetings, and I was thinking of that first Easter Sunday and Mary meeting Jesus. Lovely thing happened. You remember he came to her and he just said, Mary. And that was enough. Mary recognized who it was. But I don't want to think about Mary, I want to think about Jesus. Here's a woman, and he knows her, and he comes to her where she is, and he calls her by name. Now, sometimes there's a danger for preachers reading too much into something, but I think there's a thing of beauty whenever Jesus speaks to somebody by name. For example, if you run over to Luke 19, you see Jesus meeting the wee tax collector Zacchaeus. He stops and he looks up on the tree and he says, Zacchaeus. He tells him to come down, and Zacchaeus comes down. Jesus says to Mary, how do you think Mary felt? How do you feel when you hear the stories about Jesus? Do you realize what he really means to all of us? That this is the one who came looking for people such as you and me. That takes us to the second meeting. You remember that evening on the road to Emmaus, these two people, Jesus came and met them. And they didn't know who he was. He walked along and talked with them. And then he did something. He explained to them the whole story of the Bible, beginning with the prophets, working their whole way through. And those two things come together to make Easter wonderful. Jesus was explaining to these two people how the story began a way back before history began. God had his plan laid out by which he would make people his children. And so at the right time he came and he went through all the suffering of Calvary to make it possible for people like us. And he knows us exactly as we are. That's the amazing thing. He knew those two people on the road. He knew Mary what Mary was like. And he specializes in that, about taking people who really would be surprising. You know, Paul's another, Zacchaeus was an example, a wee rogue of a tax collector. And yet Jesus goes and stays at his house. Paul was the same. Paul was, in Acts, we read about him breathing out threatenings as he hammered the way down to Damascus to persecute the followers of the way. And Jesus, Saul, Saul, he speaks to him. My friends, I wonder how some of us view Jesus. Do some of us view him as maybe somebody who sets a good example? Yes, as somebody who dies. I hear all the talk about, the theological talk. But we need to get hold of this whole fact that here Jesus is somebody who becomes personal. The Son of God who left heaven comes and lives amongst us, and he knows us exactly as we are, and he wants us to be his friends. What an amazing privilege. What an amazing privilege that somebody like you or somebody like me can know this Saviour of the world, the one who today sits at the right hand of God the Father in glory, and who's coming again to claim those who are his. I hope that all of you who are listening make use of the opportunity to get to know this Jesus, knowing that he knows you already as you are, and that he wants you to be his child.